Hello guys, and welcome back to another Sword Staff video. So after spending more time with the game, I want to talk about how to actually progress efficiently, especially if you're starting fresh at launch. Because on the surface, the game feels simple and easy to get into, but once you start digging into its systems, there's a lot more going on underneath. And the difference between progressing normally and progressing efficiently can actually be pretty big, especially in the early stages of the game. In this video, I'm going to focus on class strategy, skill combinations, early progression decisions, and how to manage your resources properly so you don't slow yourself down later without even realizing it. Let's start with classes, because this is where a lot of players make their first mistake. The game gives you a lot of freedom, but that can also be confusing at the beginning. The important thing to understand is that your class choice is not permanent. You can switch at any time, which completely changes how you should approach the early game. Instead of committing to one class immediately, think in terms of playstyles. You've got damage-focused builds, support builds, and hybrid options that mix both. The best approach early on is to experiment with different combinations, understand how they feel, and then slowly move toward a more focused build once you know what works for you. Now, this leads directly into the most important system in the game, which is your skills. You've got active skills and passive skills, and this is where your build really comes together. It's not just about picking strong abilities, it's about how those abilities interact with each other. For example, if you're building around AoE damage, you want skills that hit multiple targets, combined with passives that amplify that type of damage. If you're focusing on bosses, you want single target damage, armor break, and burst potential. And once you start stacking those effects together, you'll notice a huge difference in performance. That's why synergy matters more than anything else. A well-synergized build will always outperform a random combination of strong skills. And this brings us to a very simple but important rule. A focused build is always better than a mixed one. If you try to do everything, you'll end up being average at everything. But if you commit to one role and build around it properly, your character becomes significantly more effective. When it comes to gear, a lot of players fall into the trap of chasing rarity. But in this game, rarity isn't everything. Stats and substats matter much more. You can have an epic item that performs better than a legendary one, simply because it has the right stats for your build. So instead of focusing on color or rarity, focus on what actually benefits your playstyle. Crit chance, speed, and synergy with your skills should always come first. Now let's talk about progression efficiency, because this is where small decisions start to matter more. The AFK system is one of your biggest advantages if you use it correctly. You want to log in regularly, collect your resources, and invest them into upgrades that scale over time, instead of wasting them on short-term gains. At the same time, exploration plays a much bigger role than most players expect. It's not just there for completion. It's actually one of the best ways to gain premium currency, upgrade materials, and hidden rewards early on. And what's important here is that exploration directly supports your build progression. The more you explore, the more resources you gain, and the stronger your character becomes as a result. If you ignore exploration and focus only on combat, you're going to fall behind without even realizing it. To balance that out, you should also focus on repeatable content, like daily dungeons and co-op activities. These give you consistent rewards and are some of the most efficient uses of your time. The key is combining exploration with these systems, so you're always progressing from multiple directions. Resource management is another area where a lot of players make mistakes. It's very easy to overspend early when you're still figuring things out. But the smarter approach is to save your resources for builds that you're actually committing to and upgrades that will matter in the long run. Joining a guild early is also something I highly recommend. Even if you're playing casually, you get access to additional rewards, group content, and overall faster progression just by being part of it. So if I had to summarize everything, the most important things are to experiment early but specialize later, build around synergy instead of randomness, prioritize stats over rarity, and make sure you're taking advantage of both exploration and repeatable content. Once you start understanding these systems and how they connect with each other, the game becomes much more rewarding, and that's really where Sword Staff stands out compared to other games in the genre. If you're already playing, let me know what kind of build you're running, because I'm always interested in seeing different approaches. And if you haven't started yet, this is honestly the best time to jump in with all the launch rewards available. Also, one quick thing before we wrap up. If you plan on picking up anything in the game, make sure to check out the official Recharge website linked below. They're currently offering special discounts, and after launch, there will also be a Recharge rebate event with extra rewards. On top of that, players also have a chance to obtain the exclusive Eternal Night Ancestor Visage skin reward. So if you're planning to recharge anyway, it's definitely worth checking out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.